What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ivan. In today's video, we're going to be covering Selena. Love Selena. I made this video with lots of love. Selena updates, legal updates, music updates, series updates. There are lots of updates. There are lots of things that have been going on behind the scenes the last couple of years. Some of them have been resolved and some of them have not been resolved. Stay tuned if you want to be up to date with all the Selena 22 news. I've also made a few observations that I really want to shed some light on. Since I was a child, I've always loved Selena's music. When I was younger, my grandma would get weekly subscriptions to Latin magazines, and I would always get to see Selena enough. My earliest memory is definitely my aunt playing the Selena live album. Thinking back on it now, Selena's death was the first death that I really felt. That I really got the concept of what death was and what it felt like to grieve and mourn for someone. Spanish was my first speaking language, so growing up I would always listen to Spanish music, Latin TV shows, so I would see Selena on the late night TV shows, Don Francisco, Christina. I love Queen of Tejano Cumbia. Shout out to the Selena fan base. Selena forever. Siempre Selena. She's just so special. I could really make this intro really long. First, let's start off with the court updates. In 2012, Chris Perez, Selena's widower, released a memoir titled To Selena with Love. Chris's story is a lot, and I have a very special place in my heart for Chris Perez. In 2016, he announced on social media that he had acquired the rights to a miniseries based on his memoir, To Selena with Love. I was all excited about it. I was like, yes, this is what we want to see. We want to see Chris's side. Yes, this is the perspective and the content that we need. Hold that thought. So shortly after Chris's announcement, Selena's father makes his own personal announcement. And he's like, I'm suing Chris and I'm blocking this show. Fans were like, what's going on with the family? Why is Selena's father now suing Chris? Why does he not want this show to come out? Why is he blocking the show? He allowed the book. The reason that Selena's father objected to the show and ended up suing Chris in order to block the show from coming to light was because shortly after Selena's passing, Selena's father had Chris sign this agreement, and this agreement relinquished Chris all rights to Selena's name and likeness and brand and royalties and all that. Chris was like, we're family. This is Selena's father. Selena's father has been managing her career her entire life. I'm not thinking right now, I'm grieving. I just lost my wife. It's only been a month. Chris was like, yeah, I'll sign it over. Well, as it turns out, that document that Chris signed in '95, shortly after Selena's passing, was the exact document that Abraham used to block the series from coming to life. You have to understand is that this is a father. Can't imagine what that is like to lose your child. He is going to do everything and anything that he can to protect her legacy, to protect her image. And Chris decides to countersue, saying no. He was taken advantage of because it was the time of grief, and he was exploited and taken advantage of because he was grieving and mourning the loss of the love of his life. In the midst of this ongoing legal battle, then we have Selena's father deciding, hey, you know what? I actually want to do a mini series. Stay tuned because I'm going to be getting into those feelings and thoughts at the end of this, because the announcement of the Netflix show and series was definitely a big blow to Chris, because here he is trying to create a show based on his memoir that he wrote about the love of his life, Selena, and he can't. They're two completely different shows. Selena's family show, from their point of view, it's from their perspective. Chris's series was going to be a completely different thing. It was going to be his point of view, a husband point of view, a soulmate love point of view, and I was really excited to see that. Now I can finally get a different point of view of who Selena was. A more in-depth, different kind of perspective, more intimate perspective, and it was kind of a bummer when we didn't get that. So fast forward now to September of 2021, and Chris and Abraham both go on their social media platforms to announce that both parties have resolved the case. The case is dismissed now. Both parties have, come to a resolution. Families were looking forward to, continuing Selena's legacy and honoring her and celebrating her. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what side you're on. This all really stems from the loss that we all endured, especially them. They have put their differences to the side and they've resolved this. Everyone's coming from a good place, and they're both very extremely protective over Selena, especially because not that long ago there was a different Selena series called SECRETO de Selena, which was based on a book written by Maria Celeste. Back in the day, Maria Celeste was a big news anchor, and she interviewed She Who Shall Not Be Named. It was this big news special kind of a thing, fabricating a bunch of lies and conspiracies about Selena. If you watch the interview yourself, she doesn't reveal anything. She doesn't say anything of substance. Nothing makes sense. You can clearly tell that she's timeline. Now, Maria is an investigative journalist, and she did do some research, court hearings, and she reviewed evidence. But a lot of the information that she did end up getting for her book, which then turned into a mini-series, was from her interviews and time spent with She Who Shall Not Be Named. So that just to me is like void, discredit, because She Who Shall Not Be Named will never have credit. She's a liar. In my opinion, tasteless show, not the perspective and story that we want to get. I don't believe anything in that book. I don't believe anything in that series. I say all that to say that especially after her mini-series and after her book, I am sure Papa Bear was like, no one's gonna be messing anymore with my daughter's legacy. And Suzette also dragged her online. I remember seeing that video of Suzette on Facebook dragging Maria Celeste. Of course, Selena's family is gonna be defensive. They don't want any more series that try to taint and tarnish Selena's legacy. And now that the legal matters are now settled, I really do hope that we can get, you know, this new series from Chris based on his memoir. On Selena's 1994 album, Amor Prohibido, there was a song titled Ya No. Part 2 of the Selena series, episode 5, there's this scene where you see Selena walking into the studio and it's AB and Chris and they're working on, Chris is composing his solo for Ya No. I was really excited when I saw this on the series because I was like, oh my god, that reminds me. I noticed this song went missing on my Spotify. Let me go look to see if it's back on. It's not back on. And then I started wondering, wait a minute, why is it not there in the first place, Ivan? It's the only song on the album that's not available on Spotify to play. It must have something to do, I think, with the Chris lawsuit. This is a very different song for Selena. It's very rock influenced, and it's a very distinguishable song in Selena's catalog as a whole. Maybe Chris has some royalties or wrote the song. So this was the song, the one song that we can say, the one song that I really feel like Selena and Chris worked on together. And it's a great song. And it's not available for streaming. It's not on iTunes. It's not on Spotify. At the time, I was like, okay, it's not there because of the legal drama. But now that the legal dramas have been settled, I was expecting to be able to hear the original version again. And it's not available on Spotify. It's not available on iTunes. And the only way I can hear the original version, the original rock version, is here on YouTube. So shout out to all you Selena fans who have kept this song rotating. I love it. I'm really hoping that the song is gonna be available soon. I think that maybe someone at the record label still hasn't gotten to it yet. Maybe. I really do hope that the song becomes available again. I really want both sides, Chris and Abraham and Suzette and AB. I want them all to be on good terms. That's what Selena would want. She would want them to be working together to preserve her legacy and celebrating her. That's what she would want. It's a great song, and the album is incomplete. The album is incomplete without that song. That's just how I feel about that. There are other versions of the song. There's a couple different versions, but they're not the rock version. They're not the original version, and I prefer the original version. She was actually my most streamed person of 2021 on my Spotify. Let's talk about the Netflix series. Let's do my quick little recap of what the show was like for me. They did a great job with the details of all the costumes. I love the costumes in the show. Not only with just like Selena's costumes on stage, but also just like her everyday fashion sense. There were a lot of little small details in the show when it comes to fashion that if you're a big Selena fan, you would have caught on to. Also some not so accurate scenes that you're like, that's not exactly how I recalled it. But it's a TV show. They worked it out as best as possible. Overall, I think that the TV series did a great job with the looks. The looks were on point. And I know that a lot of people were making complaints about Selena's looks in part 1, but like if you go back and look at Selena in the 80s, it's part 1. It was very much given part 1. Part 2 for me was definitely a lot more enjoyable just because it was more of my era. I got to learn about Selena in her Entre Mi Mundo era, in the Selena Live album era. I do feel like both in part 1 and part 2, a lot of the show really focused on the family, Abraham's background, which I did enjoy. I love the musical aspect, the composing of the music. The series was titled Selena the Series, not the Quintanilla. Of course, Selena was very family oriented. There's gonna be a lot of aspects of family in this show. I feel like we focused too much on that and not enough on Selena. And maybe that's the difference between the Selena series and the movie, that the movie really focuses on Selena and the series really focuses on Selena and the family as a whole. I wanted to see those family moments. Like, that's how you get to learn more about Selena. But what I'm saying is I want to see a different point of view. I want to hear and see Chris's point of view. At this point, I'm ready for the next Selena series to have nothing to do with music and everything to do with just who she was as a person. Because we've gotten the music, and the show did a great job with the hits. Honestly, for me, the biggest disappointment and letdown of the series, I feel like we didn't get Selena's humor. We got a lot of stressed Selena and worried Selena. Dare I even say kind of unhappy Selena, instead of the fun, quirky, funny Selena. Selena was super funny. Like, research all of Selena's interviews and watch them. You meet this charismatic, this charm and personality and talent. I didn't get that charm in the show. I feel like the writing didn't do it. Christian could only do so much with what she was given. And I do think that Christian did a very nice job portraying Selena. It's hard stepping into someone else's shoes. You could only do so much. The writing was focused on all the wrong things, or just spent too much time on certain aspects. Like, there were other aspects of her life and personality that we could have focused on. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I wanted to make this video to just give you guys updates on all things Selena. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you guys hit the notifications bell, subscribe, like, comment, share. If you like any of the content that you find on here, definitely drop me a comment. Until the next vlog, until the next video, until the next scene. I'm gonna talk to you guys later.